back to New York City to see some more theater, but this time I'm doing something a little bit different. Instead of taking the plane, which I've done in the past, I've made the decision to go via Amtrak on the Carolinian line. I used to ride the train a lot when I was a kid because my dad was a big fan of trains. So I've ridden all over Europe on trains. I've ridden on the old steam locomotives. I took a train when I moved to Chicago when I was in my 20s. But that's probably the last time I rode a train. I'm sure things have changed. There were things I didn't have to worry about when I was a kid riding with my dad. I'm the one having to do the plans this time, and so I'm trying to make sure that everything goes the way it's supposed to go. It's pretty much going to take all day on a Tuesday to get from Raleigh, North Carolina to New York City. We're supposed to leave at 10:17 in the morning, and we're supposed to arrive at 8:35 in the evening. Now, I have been warned that Amtrak is consistently late, so I should not be surprised if it's late getting here, and I should not be surprised if we're then late getting to New York City. So just putting on my patient pants as far as that goes. We'll see how it works out. One thing I needed to worry about is baggage. How many bags are you allowed to take on this ride on Amtrak? Now, what their website says is you're allowed to have 2 carry-on bags. Those are a larger bag. You can have 2 of those. That's the large rolling bags. Now, you have to be able to lift them over your head because you have to be able to personally put them up and take them down from the railing shelf at the top over your head. And you're allowed to have 1 personal item. Now, this is kind of in the same parlance of what they do on the plane, but I don't want to have to roll 2 big rolling bags. You know, these are the large ones through the city. I don't need to take that much, but I need more on the train than I ever need on the plane for reasons that we'll discuss. A plane trip to New York City takes about 2 hours. A train trip to New York City takes about 10 hours. Okay, so that means you need to be fed. There is no dining car on the Carolinian. There's like a cafe car, a grab-and-go sort of car that, from what I understand, is only inconsistently open. Maybe it'll be open for most of the ride, but maybe it won't. I've been told about situations where their computer system was down and they couldn't take cash, and so they just weren't able to sell any food. So I don't want to be stuck in a situation like that. But, you know, we're leaving at 10:17 in the morning and we're getting there at 8:35 in the evening. So what we're looking at is 2 separate meals during that time. You know, you've got lunch and dinner. Unless I'm willing to be real hungry and wanting dinner when I get into the city, I don't think that's what I'm going to want. A dinner is not going to fit into my carry-on bag where I've got, you know, my regular stuff in there, my camera, you know, a book, because it's a 10 to 12 hour ride. You know, my charging battery. There's lots of things that I keep in my regular personal item bag. So I went and got another bag that's about the same size as this personal item bag. Okay, but it's a cooler bag. So I'm going to put food in there. See, right here in the front pocket, got a bag of peanuts there. All right, there's going to be gum. I'm going to bring a bag with some eggs in it. I'm going to bring some snack cheese. I've got a place for water. All right, jug for water. We'll be able to cool it. I'll be able to get a couple of sandwiches, put those in there. So hopefully I'll have enough for a lunch and a dinner. But without this extra bag, no, no, I'm not gonna have enough space for a dinner in my bags. So fingers crossed that they let me have 2 personal items and 1 carry-on, because with these 2 things, I'm actually taking up less space than I would if I brought 2 carry-ons. So, you know, knock on wood, we'll see how this works out, hopefully later in this video. I've chosen to ride in coach, which some people who I've asked said there's not a big difference on the Carolinian between the coach and business class. There's no first class, no cabins on the Carolinian, so those are the 2 choices. I went ahead and chose the cheaper choice. We'll see whether I find that to be the right choice or not. It's not a reserved seat. I have to get on there, see what's already taken from the folks who have come from Charlotte and points west, and see what I like that's still available. But hopefully we'll be on time, or at least not too late, and all of these greatest laid plans of mice and men come to fruition. Let's go. I'm here at Raleigh Union Station. It's a nice modern place. Okay, I just spoke to an employee of the railway, and they told me that these 2 personal items and 1 carry-on were perfectly fine, not a problem, just as long as I can lift it over my head to put it where it belongs up top. I also found that the PDF that I was sent via email will be good enough as my ticket. So they'll be able to scan that, and I will get on to the train. Relatively crowded train already. Here in Raleigh, we've got lots of stops to go before New York City, but some people will get off in places like Washington, D.C. or Baltimore or Philly, but I have to share with someone I don't know, but that's okay. That's part of the train experience, and I was able to find a seat with storage right above, so that's a positive. We're stopped right now. We're about a half an hour behind schedule, but I'm guessing we're gonna be a little bit more than that by the end, because we've come to a full stop outside, well, maybe inside Washington, D.C. We went right past the Jefferson Memorial and the Washington Memorial, and I can see the Capitol building out the window, but I can't get a good shot of it because it's on the other side of the train. But if that's something you're interested in, then try to get a seat on the far left side of the train, and then you'll get to see that stuff really well. Okay, so let's talk about getting to New York City, getting into Moynihan Train Hall. Moynihan Train Hall works in concert with Penn Station, which was an existing train station that is sort of under Madison Square Garden. So the two are connected. So when I was getting off of my train, my arms full of luggage, so I didn't shoot that while I was doing it because I was too much surrounded by other people and arms full of luggage and all of that. So I just got off the train, followed some people, found the first escalator I could find, went up that, went down the hall, went up another escalator. I found myself coming up through Penn Station, which is on the other side of the street from Moynihan Train Hall. But that actually was perfect because that right there at 31st and 8th is where the cabs line up, which is exactly what I needed. I needed a cab to get from there to my hotel, which was like 15 blocks north. Now, I wasn't gonna carry all my luggage 15 blocks north to my hotel, so it actually worked out perfect. I came up under Madison Square Garden through Penn Station, and the row of cabs was right there. All you do is you go to the front of the row of cabs. If you get in one as soon as you see it, well, you can't get out. The traffic's blocking those people. You can't take that cab. They're all in a line. You go way to the front of the line. You get in the first cab. There'll be a guy there to help you if there's any confusion about what cab you should get into. There's a dispatcher right there to point for you. Say, yep, get in that one right there. That's what they did. I threw my stuff in, talked to the guy. We got where we were going. And I got to start my vacation in New York City again. As things work out for the Carolinian, the train ride north to New York City runs around 10 and a half hours, whereas the train ride south from New York City to Raleigh, where I was going, ran about 12 hours. There's a reason for that. They stop in Washington, D.C. for about 2 hours. They turn the train off. There's no air conditioning. There's no lights. and they say, well, you're welcome to stay here if you'd like, but there's not going to be any lights or air conditioning. Or you could go into the beautiful Union Station there in Washington, D.C. and have a little walk around, maybe find a snack or go into the shops. Now, I was there on Easter Sunday, so there weren't quite as many shops or restaurants open as I guess there typically would be. A lot of the stuff was closed. But I was able to find some ice cream. That was nice. Had some ice cream and had a little walk around. It's a gorgeous station. You can spend a little time there. Then I went back to the train. I was able to get right back on and sat down about a half an hour before it was time to go again. But don't extend your stay because they will leave you. If you're not back on that train at the time that it's ready to leave, that they're not looking for you. There's nobody going, gee, I wonder where these people are. No, 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 no. They go at the time that they're supposed to go. So yes, get off, have a look, get some ice cream maybe, but you gotta be back on that train. I will say that even though the train trip south was about 2 hours longer than my train trip north, my personal experience was actually a little bit better heading south from New York City, maybe just because of my own mindset. I will admit that on the train north, I was a little bit nervous, I was a little bit impatient. Not impatient to where I was hopefully not annoying to anyone around me, just internally feeling like, I'm used to being on a plane, I'm used to this only taking a couple hours. I had to find ways to relax. I looked at my book, I listened to some music, I ate some food, but 10 hours is a long time. And I was excited for my trip. I was excited to get there and do the things I wanted to do. Coming home, it was just, coming home. So I think I settled in a little bit better on my way home, and it was no big deal. Even though it took longer, I was a little bit more relaxed because I'd had the experience of the ride up. I knew it was no big deal. I could do the ride back easy. Would I take Amtrak on this line again? I think I would. Under the right circumstances, I think I would. The seats were pretty comfortable. I had nice leg room. You can get up and stretch your legs, have a walk around. You can get up and use the bathroom. It was really a pretty satisfying experience. And I would do it again, especially having done it once and sort of the mystery being taken out of it. Some people, I think, will find it a lot more relaxing than having to go to the airport and having to go through security there and that whole experience. I'm okay with either, so good for me. That gives me options, doesn't it? Thanks for watching.